I think that there's certainly a degree of bravery that comes when men are around their brothers, and I think that if you get the right group of men together, even if you get 10 of them and tell them they're all going to be blown to pieces, they'll still manage to find a way to laugh. Why do we think that is? Why do we think that's so important for life as well, and why that translates across the optimum life a man can live? Why do you think you need men around you that inspire you in that way? Yeah, completely. And I don't know what it is, but I think there's certainly something. If you look at the most men who are miserable and unhappy today, I think that there's a few things that are lacking. You'll ask them what it is. They might say women, they might say money. But in my experience, mainly it's brotherhood. I think most men who are truly miserable don't have brothers, because if you have good guys around you and you're truly a team and you know you can truly rely on them and they can truly rely on you, you don't really care about much else. You can take a good group of guys and bankrupt them and dump them on a beach in the Philippines with no girls and no money, and they will still laugh, still have fun, still survive. So I think brotherhood is an extremely important thing. And the number one question I get asked all the time, and the reason I'm mentioning it is because you two guys are here. People always say, hey, I want better friends. You know, I want brothers like you guys have. I want to be part of the war room or whatever else. For any man out there, if you want to find friends which are hardworking and dedicated and motivated, and you want to respect them, and you want them to respect you back, go into a fight gym and learn how to fight for real. And you will have a bunch of friends who aren't afraid, who aren't cowards, who respect you, who you respect back. You'll have some of my best friends. In fact, a lot of the guys who've been visiting me this last week, anyone who's following me on Twitter, I've been sparring with, are guys I used to train with 10, 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still coming to see me. So yeah, that's a fantastic way, because I think if we actually psychoanalyze that, that's interesting. When men go through shared experiences, I think that's how we bond, especially if it's shared hardship. It doesn't matter if it's a football team, winning a game, losing a game, going to war, your army buddies, going to fight, your fight buddies. We have to have some kind of shared hardship to bond with. And I think that's very important. So if you're the kind of guy who avoids hardship or avoids challenges or tasks, you're going to struggle to find any kind of friends worth having. And speak without speaking. I can meet somebody without saying a word, and within the first 3 seconds, I know if he's a bitch or not. Everybody knows this is how men operate. We instantly can analyze somebody and see if they have value or not. It's something that's almost instinctual that you can't explain. So the easiest way, I have a lot of people ask me, hey, how do I come across as high value? Be high value? How about that? That's the easiest way to do it. Why are you trying to fake? Why are you trying to lie? And I think the world, especially as it gets more and more polarized and as things get worse and worse, especially in the Western world, your network is the most important thing. I really believe that I need a strong network. If you believe it and you understand it, that's the first stage. And that's also something a lot of men at home don't understand. If I lost everything today, it would be the men I know that helped me get it all back. It wouldn't be the women I can sleep with. It wouldn't be, all the cars I already have or all the status I already have, whatever. It would be the men I know when shit hits the fan that I'd be calling to try and get everything back. And that's how important it is. It's your parachute and it's your safety net. And it's also the thing that's going to keep you on top regardless of what happens to you. So if you're sitting here saying, I don't want to be a fantastic man, then you don't want a fantastic network and you're in big trouble. It says, oh, I'm not motivated to become strong. Oh, I don't really care about money. Well, you're also saying, by extension, I don't want strong friends around me. I don't want rich friends around me.
Because you're a bad friend.
Because you're going to be a bad friend. And then you have to sit and look and understand that lone wolves don't survive. The idea of Rambo in and of itself is a fallacy. It's always going to be packs and teams that are going to survive. And if your team's going to be a bunch of weaklings like you that lack motivation, you say, I lack motivation. You're also advertising to the world that every single one of the people you're friends with are going to lack motivation. So then what? What chance do you have, you and your dork friends with no motivation, against a bunch of motivated men?
Yeah, because I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible to have a bunch of friends who are motivated and focused and not be motivated and focused yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Peer pressure is fantastic. It works it absolutely works both ways, right? But most motivated, hardworking men are not going to want to hang around with a loser if he doesn't get his act right. If your friends who are going to instantly adhere to the slave mind program, you're going to be dangerous friends to have, because right now it's about Andrew Tate being a bad guy. Okay, whatever, no big deal. But later it'll be about getting this injection or getting this vaccine or doing something you're not supposed to do, and they'll be peer pressuring you. I don't know if you guys saw recently, rest in peace, there was the guy, it was Joe Aesthetics.
Joe Aesthetics, Joey something, yeah.
And he had 8 million followers on Instagram, and he's 30 years old, and he just dropped dead. And he's on a lot of steroids, but he's saying that he got peer pressured into taking the vaccine. Four times he got peer pressured into it, and now he's literally dead. So what did we talk earlier about peer pressure and how important it is for it to be pushing you in the correct direction? And I think that your friends as a man especially should be at least inspiring bravery in you. You should at least, when I'm with my guys, I feel brave. It doesn't mean I'm reckless, it doesn't mean I'm stupid, but I certainly feel brave because I know how competent they are and I know they have my back. So it's hard for my friends to peer pressure me into an act which is guided by cowardice, like taking an injection, for example. That's cowardice. It's very hard for them to make me do something cowardly, but it's very easy for them to make me do something brave, like say, fuck it, you're strong as an ox, do some push-ups. So you have to be very careful with the friends you have around you. If your friends are going to be so easily manipulatable that they're going to fall for everything the mainstream media says, I would say that you don't need friends like that. You need to find friends who are not like that. And then if you're sitting there and you find yourself lonely, that's because the kind of men who resist slave programming don't look at you and find you valuable. And once again, whose fault is that? That is completely and utterly your fault. It's amazing how much control and autonomy you have over your own life as a man. That's the most beautiful thing about it. I was talking to a girl the other day, and she was absolutely and utterly gorgeous, and she said that, yeah, being a girl's easy. I love being a girl. And I said, I would hate an easy life. I think being a beautiful girl is easy, but to me that sounds torturous. I can't imagine anything more mind-numbing and boring than being a super hot chick. Not to disrespect them, I'm just saying that I am so addicted and so accustomed to constant struggle and war that the idea of living without it is almost daunting to me, because I don't see the point in being alive. What are you doing then? Waking up, are you just smiling all day? Eating Happy Meals? Doing your makeup? Is that it? Where's the struggle? And this is from a man who's literally just got out of jail and is looking at a bunch more jail he doesn't deserve, which is a struggle, both physical and mental.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going, yeah, my life has always been a struggle. It's all I've ever known. I can't imagine it being any other way. And I'm still not trying to change it. I'm not trying to retire and vanish and disappear and just live easy. It's not something I'm even interested in. It doesn't even cross my mind. Once you adopt that mindset, how can you not be successful? I have to train, because if I don't, I feel too guilty to sleep. I feel dirty. I feel terrible inside if I don't train. Once you get that mindset, how can you lack motivation? Motivation's free and unlimited. It's discipline and purpose is more important.